Welcome. Thompson has made the commitment to provide a safe and healthy workplace, and it's our expectation that working safely will be the priority of every member on our team. We strive to adhere to the best safe work practices in our industry, but to be truly successful, safety must be more than a program, a book, or a procedure. It must be a company philosophy, an attitude that starts with you. When you walk out onto a job site, if you're not 100% convinced that the task you've been instructed to perform can be done safely, then discuss the issue with your supervisor. Every team member has the responsibility and the authority to immediately stop any work activity that presents a danger to you, your coworkers, our clients, the public, or the environment. To prevent injury, we must be especially conscious of high-risk tasks. These are activities that could result in SIFs, which are serious injuries or fatalities. For every high-risk task that will be performed, we must ensure that we have proper controls in place. As you work, you should identify potential risks and take aggressive and appropriate action to ensure a safe environment. Take a stand and accept personal responsibility for your safety. We owe it to our families, our team members, and to ourselves. Communication and planning are vital to safety in our industry. If someone approaches you to discuss safety, remain open-minded. We believe that every employee is a valuable member of the team, and our mission is to ensure that every person who steps onto our site will work safely and go home each day free from injury. Taking chances or risks concerning safety is not acceptable. Our work is never so urgent or important that we cannot take the time to do it safely. Working safely is the minimum standard to continue working with Thompson family of companies. We are proud of our excellent safety record, and we know that you will be an active partner in making it even better.
As a subcontractor to Thompson, you must remember that safety is our #1 priority. This site safety orientation is designed to inform you of certain requirements while you are on this job site. These requirements are not designed to cover every aspect of your work while you're here and does not meet your OSHA-required training. This is simply the minimal safety requirement needed in order to perform your work at this site. There may be additional OSHA requirements and training that pertain to your specific work that you're required to follow as you perform your job. If you have any questions or concerns about this orientation, you can ask any member of the site management team.
All non-English-speaking workers must be accompanied by an English-speaking interpreter or have an English-speaking person in their crew.
On behalf of the corporate safety team, I want to welcome you to the Thompson family. We don't use that word lightly, family. Because you're our team member, we want to take great care of you. You're going to watch a series of basic safety orientation videos that should prepare you for the risks that you could encounter on our job sites. In the past, you may have watched videos similar to this, but please remain engaged. Don't tune out. This is important information. Now, every person who works for Thompson must have a personal value for safety. It's a part of our expected company culture. And culture is really just a fancy way of saying it's our collective values, beliefs. It's really the way we do things and how we act. That's culture. And our safety culture surrounds this one basic principle, that every person who steps onto our job site will work safely and go home every day free from injury. To accomplish this goal of working safely, we ask that you focus on the prevention of SIF. SIF stands for Serious Injury or Fatality, and it's any incident that results in life-altering or life-threatening injury or illness. We've learned that SIFs most often occur when we're performing high-risk tasks. So take a look at your screen and you'll see a list of high-risk tasks that are often performed at our job sites. When you're performing one of these tasks, please make sure that you take steps to keep yourself and those around you safe by using controls. Controls are mechanisms that can prevent a high-risk task from resulting in a serious injury or fatality. They're simply the layers of protection that we use to keep people safe. Take a look at your screen now, and you'll see a list of controls that we have available to safeguard our team members from harm. Use as many as possible when you're performing a high-risk task. All right, let's go ahead and put all of those definitions together. We will identify the high-risk task, put the proper controls into place, and work safely to prevent serious injury and fatality. We'll use this one to share information about the PTP, which stands for Pre-Task Plan. This is a rockstar tool, and it serves two major purposes. The first is that it helps our leaders really think through and plan the work safely. And finally, it helps to communicate to all the team members the plan so that we all know what each other are doing. The first section of the PTP is used to help evaluate the work area. Team members will simply walk through the work area and identify any hazard that could be present. The second portion of the PTP is used to describe each step of the planned work, to identify the hazards associated with each step, and then finally, what actions will eliminate or control the hazard. In the last portion of the PTP, crews will sign off that they understand and have the right to stop this task at any time if a hazard not listed is recognized or a condition changes making the job task unsafe. It's important to keep in mind that any time that the work changes, the PTP should be updated. Likewise, if anyone new joins the team that wasn't there for the initial PTP briefing, they should be brought up to speed about the risks that could be present so that they can put the layers of protection in place to keep themselves and everyone around them safe. I just wanted to give you a quick heads up. If you're out working at one of our job sites and a leader walks over and watches what you're doing and then puts some information down in a cell phone or an iPad, they're probably completing what we call a SIF assessment. They are required to perform these SIF assessments every week. What they're doing is looking at the high-risk task that you're performing and ensuring that we have as many layers of protection as we can in place. All of that information goes into a system that is given to the site leadership, that's given to the safety team, that's given to our executive leadership, and especially our site safety steering team. So everyone uses that information to see how we can work more safely.
Personal protective equipment and suitable clothing. The minimum requirement for this project will be hard hat, safety glasses with side shields. This includes prescription glasses. Safety toe work boots are required while on the job site. No tennis shoes or open-toed shoes. A high visibility vest or shirt must be worn at all times while on the project.
Hands are one of the most important parts of the body, and they need to be protected. You should use gloves based on the task being performed. Some of the hazards include rigging, working with steel, sharp edges, and concrete work. Plan your hazard assessment of required gloves with your PTP.
Clothing should not have any questionable or controversial language or pictures. No shorts, no tank tops, and no sleeveless shirts. Shirts must have a minimum 4-inch sleeve. Respiratory protection. If a respirator is required, the contract company must have a written program that complies with the OSHA standard, and it must address these requirements for all fit testing, medical surveillance, and training. All respirators used on the site must be NIOSH or MSHA approved.
All brick, block, and concrete shall be cut using the wet cut method. A face shield, hearing protection, and the appropriate level of respirator protection for the material being cut is required. Falls are the leading cause of fatalities in the construction industry, so it is important to follow these specific safety requirements. In the Thompson Turner division, tie-off is required at 6 feet or higher. In the industrial construction areas, tie-off is required at 4 feet and above. You must have a safety harness and must be 100% tied off. Your anchorage point must be capable of supporting 5,000 pounds. Harnesses must be inspected prior to each use. Retractable devices are highly recommended below 18 feet. There are many forms of fall protection: guardrails, warning lines, and safety monitors on roofs. It is your company's responsibility to ensure that employees have been trained and the correct fall protection is used for the work you will be performing.
Scaffolding. Scaffolding shall be built in accordance with OSHA Regulation 1926.540, Subpart L, and under the direct supervision of your company's competent person who must be on site at all times.
All scaffolding must be inspected daily and signed by the inspector on the tag. If the scaffold is incomplete, it must have a yellow tag. Scaffolds that are not complete and not to be used are marked with a red tag.
All scaffolds shall be built as complete as possible, including base plates with mud seals, complete handrails, mid-rails, toe boards, complete decking, and a proper ladder as access. Housekeeping. A clean work area is a safe work area. Do your part in keeping your work area clean and safe. Pick up your scrap materials every day before you leave the job site. Trash cans and dumpsters will be provided to help in the cleanup process. In this picture, we see a powder-actuated shot strip. These strips must be disposed of properly and not discarded on the floor. If shots are left unfired in the strip, they must be placed in a can full of water for 24 hours before being disposed.
Electrical safety. Prior to starting work on any electrical system, power must be secured and locked out. This includes working on all lighting systems. The system will first be locked out, then tested to make sure it has been de-energized by a qualified electrician. Electrical rooms must be secured by means of a locked door. To gain entry into an electrical room, you can request admission from the electrical superintendent or site management team.
All electrical power tools, drop cords, etc., must be protected by a ground fault circuit interrupter and be free from any defects. Drop cords must be no less than 12/3 gauge. If any power tool or drop cord is found to be damaged, it will be taken out of service immediately. Here is an example of a bad drop cord. It must be removed from the job site immediately. Also, the household 3-way splitter that you see cannot be used. Only construction-grade electrical devices will be allowed on site, rated heavy-duty or extra heavy-duty. Ladder safety. All ladders must be construction-grade work ladders and in good condition. If they are damaged, they will be removed from the project immediately.
When using ladders, be sure to follow these safety tips. Choose the right ladder and check the weight rating. Always inspect the ladder before using it. Make sure the ladder is stable before beginning to climb it. Don't place a ladder on soft ground. Make sure that you stay stable as you climb or stand on a ladder. Do not carry items with you as you climb the ladder. Do keep your body centered on the ladder. Do not stand or climb past the last 2 steps on a ladder. Do maintain 3 points of contact on the ladder. Don't lean too far in either direction. When attempting to access areas where there are no approved anchorage points, which is common in the commercial construction environment, an employee and his supervisor need to look at all fall protection options, such as engineered guardrails at the top of ladder. Safety cages are fixed to adjustable fiberglass platform ladders with a built-in 42-inch guardrail. When these ladders are used in accordance with the manufacturer's instructions, they can be another option in preventing employee falls. It is important that all ladders be used in accordance with the manufacturer's instructions and the OSHA standard.
This is an example of the incorrect use of a stepladder. You should never use the top step or the platform to stand, sit, or work from. This is an example of some bad steps with a storage trailer. These steps do not have handrails, and there is no landing at the top of the stairs for the swing of the door. This is a good example. These steps have good handrails. They also have a good landing area.
The aerial lift. Every aerial lift must be equipped with an aftermarket control panel protection mechanism. Operators of an aerial lift must be trained and qualified on the equipment they will be operating. Documentation of the training is required. A fall harness is required. A lanyard is required. And 100% tie-off in the aerial lift is also required.
Notice this worker isn't properly tied off. This lanyard should be attached to the proper tie-off point in the lift. His lanyard should not be tied back upon itself over a rail. Make sure that you understand that you cannot use the handrails, the mid-rail, or any devices in the aerial lift to get to a higher location, including ladders.
Forklifts and lulls. All operators must be trained and qualified on the specific type of forklift or lull they are operating. Documentation of that training is also required during operation. Thompson operated and owned equipment like forklifts and lulls have a seatbelt safety switch. Power tools are a necessary tool in our industry, but can be harmful if misused. Remember to unplug electrical tools when not in use, or remove the battery on battery-operated tools. If you are using a powder-actuated tool, you must be trained and have a license to operate. Excavations and trenching. All excavations and trenching require a written permit from the site management. The permit will require a competent person to fill out and be on site at all times during excavation. The subcontractor will be required to physically mark the location of the area before they call a location service, penetrating radar, 811, or a private locate service. Before you dig, notify, wait, confirm, respect, dig carefully.
All excavations shall be done in accordance with OSHA Regulation 1926.650, Subpart P, and under direct supervision of your company's competent person who must be on site during the excavation. Notice that the employee is standing outside the protection of the trench box and that the ladder is too far away from the trench box to be of safe use. Notice in the picture, the walls on this trench are not benched back or sloped properly, nor are the workers protected from cave-in. Also, the pipes are not properly supported. It's unclear if the pipes contain caustics, acids, medical or sanitary waste, etc. Before proceeding with work, the content of the pipes must be determined and the appropriate level of protection provided. All rebar must be capped to prevent impalement. All floor openings must be covered at a minimum with 3/4 inch plywood frame to fit the hole. The hole cover should be marked "hole cover" and secured against movement. Depending on the hole size, additional support may be required to prevent collapsing of the cover. All elevated floor slabs, mezzanines, and stairs must have a protective handrail or guardrail to prevent falls. This must be done before workers are allowed to access those areas. If you or your company removes or takes down a handrail or guardrail, you are responsible for putting it back up. Injuries and first aid. Employees shall report all accidents and near misses immediately to the supervisors. All contractors are required to provide first aid care to their injured employees. First aid trained personnel and supplies shall be on site and available at all times. All contractors should report these incidents to the general contractor immediately.
Hazardous communication. If you or your company bring any type of chemical on site, it must be properly labeled, and you must supply site management with the safety data sheet of that chemical. Site management needs to have a full copy of your company's SDS book. This is to ensure we have the chemical's information in case of an emergency.
Chemical labeling. You are required to properly label all chemical containers on the job site. Substance Abuse Program. This program applies to all contractors, subcontractors, and tier subcontractors that will perform any type of work at this project location, and there are no exceptions. All project personnel working at the project site are subject to random drug screenings. That drug screen can be performed at any time. This includes employees that may be on site for only a few days. If you refuse to take or do not pass the drug screening test, you will be removed from the project site. All construction-related traffic will enter through a designated control gate where there is a designated parking area for all contractors and their employees. No personal vehicles will be allowed outside the designated parking areas.
Smoking is only allowed in designated areas. Smoking is not allowed inside of buildings or on any school properties.
Radios and personal listening devices are not allowed on site. You cannot wear earbuds or headphones to listen to music while working. This creates an unsafe condition where it's difficult to hear what's going on around you. Sexual harassment. Any inappropriate talk, whistles, staring, or comments to students, other workers, or passersby will not be tolerated. Any of this conduct will result in your removal from the job site. If you are working at an active school project where students and teachers are present, you should have no contact or interaction with those students or teachers. Any contact will result in your immediate removal from the project site. If a situation develops where a student or teacher are in danger, their protection is of utmost importance, and every effort should be made to protect the student and/or teacher.
While everyone loves pets, the job site is not the place for them, and contractors are not permitted to bring pets to the project site. Know when barricades should be erected. For instance, for overhead work or excavations and trenches, know the difference between yellow and red barricades and when each is necessary. Confined spaces must be treated with caution. There are non-permit and permit-required confined spaces. By definition, a confined space is one that, by design or configuration, has limited openings for entry and exit, is large enough for bodily entry, and which is not intended for continuous employee occupancy. A permit-required confined space meets all the requirements to be a confined space and has one or more of the following characteristics: contains or has the potential to contain a hazardous atmosphere, contains a material that has the potential to engulf an entrant, has an internal configuration such that an entrant could be trapped or asphyxiated by inwardly converging walls or by a floor that slopes downward and tapers to a small cross-section, contains any other recognized serious safety or health hazard. If it is necessary to enter a permit-required confined space, you will need additional training, an entry supervisor, attendant, and a prearranged rescue crew. Storm water pipes, manholes, sanitary sewers, lift stations are all considered permit-required confined spaces. All hot work involving burning, welding, cutting, open flame soldering or brazing will require a fire extinguisher within 20 feet and a trained fire watch that has no other duties. The fire watch must stay a minimum of 30 minutes after the hot work has stopped. All combustible material shall be removed before starting any work activities. All demolition work must have the following: have an asbestos and lead survey completed, all asbestos and lead removed, demo plan written and approved, shoring plan written and approved. Any site-specific safety plans will be covered by the site leadership performing this orientation. In case of an emergency, all contractors must report to the site construction trailer or site-designated rally area, where they will then report to their site supervisor or foreman. The site supervisor will then make a head count and report to the site leader.
We believe that the people who do the work every day can best tell us how to work more safely. That's why we created the Site Safety Steering Team. It's basically team members from the site that will get together on a regular basis to discuss safety opportunities. Now, it could be that they want to share a best practice across our organization. We love a great safety success story, or maybe they've identified an issue. If that's the case, we'd love to give our site leadership an opportunity to solve that issue. If it can't be solved at the site level, then it moves to the division level, and if it can't be solved there, it moves to the executive steering team. Now, the whole point of these steering teams is to make sure that people at every level in our organization have a voice and have an opportunity to improve our safety outcomes.
Remember that safety is our #1 priority. Our work is never so urgent or important that we cannot take the time to do it safely. And if we cannot do the job safely, then we do not do the job.